Was there a race or two? You won so many races, Squirt, and you were so successful, but was there kind of one or two that stands out in your memory as saying, "God darn it, that was more satisfying than others for whatever reason"?
Yeah, probably. I mentioned that I didn't go out of my bailiwick after going a couple places and not getting paid, and I went to. It was the end of the season, and I think I had a Camaro this year, so I don't know what year, but probably in the 60s, the late 60s. But I knew a flagman guy and this guy was flagging at Smucker's down which is right below Latrobe. I think it still operates, and a half-mile track. And anyhow, I don't know whether he called me or whether I seen him someplace. He's a guy I didn't ever see very often, but I knew him, and he told me to come down there. I said, I don't go no place. I says, you'd go there and then and run, and then there's always something the matter afterwards, you know. And I knew this guy well enough to trust his word, you know. And he says, you come, you'll get paid, he said, you know. You come if you want to, you'll get paid. And so I'm not really used to half miles, you know, but I had a set of Towel City recaps, pretty nice set of tires. They were a little bit hard. I hadn't ever used them much because they were too hard, and my car was, I told you about changing parts. I changed spindles and stuff on a schedule, like to maintain reliability. And my car was at the end of its life on the right front spindle and the hub, and the axles were getting pretty old. I changed axles on over the years. You had to change the schedule too as you changed motors, but at any rate, everything was run out, and I thought, well, them tires might work down there, and I go down there, and Herb Scott, Turk Burkett, all the down Pittsburgh way guys were there. I think like that other guy that won all over Eastern.
Bob Waring?
Waring was there, and you know, all them guys that have a good reputation, Blackie Watt, and anyhow, I'm down there, and I start off. I qualify like 8th or 6th or something, you know, not bad, but not up front. And them guys, they take off, and they get ahead, not clear out of this picture maybe, but.
I can go out and wait. You're going to be pretty soon.
But I'm running along. In the turns, I'm missing the holes and stuff so my stuff ain't. Try and keep my stuff from breaking.
Hey.
And I'm still running this way. And a friend of mine from Clearfield that runs down there, pretty soon I'm up beside him, and he's running the outside and just driving the unmerciful hell out of his car. And I'm just gradually sneaking by him on the inside and missing the holes, and pretty soon I realize I'm gaining on them all. And it was 100-lapper. And I ended up winning that race, and I think I got the biggest purse I ever made in my life.
Is that right? Good for you.
Yeah, and you know, that gave me satisfaction because it was down among a bunch of good guys, and it was a late end of the season where everybody all the good guys come from a long ways. I think it was $1,000 to win, which was a big purse in them days.
No kidding. At some point, you had a long, distinguished career where you have to kind of look yourself in the mirror and say, I don't think I need to do this anymore?
No,
Was that a hard decision for you?
no, in a way, I had a rude awakenings the way I ended up. But I was after my eye problems and stuff. I built a car to run down here. I wasn't going to tow so far anymore, and the Clearfield track had made a half-mile and was promoting a big deal, and I agreed to run over there. We even went on TV, to help them advertise it and stuff, and down to Altoona to do a show, a promotional deal,
sure.
Which I never did before. But anyhow, I built, I built another whole different kind of style car with a wide 5 hubs and aluminum hubs and Buick brake drums and stuff. Everything that I'd never had any experience with. And incorporated some ideas of mine that turned out to be wrong into the way the steering was set up and stuff. And so I always built a car. I stuck with it no matter what. If you'd done a bad thinking job and you ended up not being too good, I'm sure in my early years I'd have worked harder to change it during the season. But a lot of them things, when you change them, it involves an awful more work than you can maybe get done in a week. And I ended up having some mistakes in this car that I should have just ripped into, and even if I had to miss races, I should have fixed, changed. But I worry on with it, and even a winter passed, and I didn't change that. And you see, that's because I had 2 years or 3 off on account of my eye problem, and I got soft. I wasn't used to putting them hours out in the garage. Wasn't fun anymore. They were work. Anyhow, in that, I'm pretty sure it was the second season I run that. Maybe the end of the first season, I don't know. But I'm down there at Clearfield and running at night, and they messed up on watering the track or something, and it's dusty. And I'm out there following some guy in the dust, and it's dusty. And part of the trouble was the way they had the lights aimed. You'd go a certain distance, you couldn't see nothing. Then you can see. Well, the lights were shining towards you when you couldn't see, but shining with you when you could see. The way the poles were up and the track lights were, and when they were shining, maybe it's the other way around, but when one way all that dirt in front of you was really illuminated and blocked your vision, and the other way it was like background. And at any rate, I'm following this guy going around a turn and coming up onto the straightaway. I know that, and he makes a quick jig. And I say, that can't be right, because this is the track, I'm pretty sure. Well, in another second or so, there's a guy crossways right in front of me. And I did have time to get my foot in the brake. And I T-boned him, but lucky enough, he was sitting, so I hit him in the passenger's door, not the driver's door. And I broke my foot down. There was a metal pedal, without any rubber pad on it, and my foot got cracks in it from when that shock of that hit and being on that brake pedal. And so I got hurt. It cured up. They never. I don't think they ever even cast it. I just wore a good shoe and stuff, but it was full of cracks in there, they said. And I thought, you've raced all these years, and if you ain't smart enough to not race in dust like that, you better quit right now, because you ain't never going to get smart, I told myself. And that's the excuse or whatever I gave myself, and I quit right then. I didn't. It was almost the end of the season, I think, too. But I thought that was one of the dumbest things I ever done, was running in that dust when it wasn't even a feature or nothing. It was just a
heat race.
Yeah.
Did your family go with you to all these races, Squirt?
Oh,
your wife and you had 2 kids, right?
Yeah, the kids didn't go hardly any, but they always had a babysitter.
Eddie went at first.
Yeah, he went some, but
I went to all of
should have made more attempt to take them kids along, I think. But we thought we were doing the right thing by leaving them stay home with Grandma and stuff.
Your son never got interested in racing?
Oh, he ran a little bit after I. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he run acceptable, you know, but not. Yeah, he run maybe 2 or 3 years. He bought one of them professional chassis. I never had a professional chassis or anything. It was always professional me. You know? I had Bill Lyle help me. I mean, he put endless hours in with me, as much as I did. And I had a few guys that would come and go. Most of them they'd hand you. It was a big help if they just handed you stuff, you know. And like that one guy that could weld, he was a big help once in a while. Or weld that thin tin, you know. You know, with an electric, you can weld a foot of a bead in 5 minutes. Where if you're going to do it with gas, you're going to weld a foot, you got to spend 15 or 20 minutes, you know. And that really made that being able to. I guess of course he was a steady man. You see, that's always one of my welding heavy. That actually was good, and stirring the mix a little, the puddle a little bit. But welding that tin, that was no good to. Yeah, and yeah, it was a. But yeah, without it, well, started building the car in this garage over here, you know. But he pushed it out every night, and you know, he never could leave things lay where they were and stuff. And then eventually I built this garage out here.
Oh.
And it only had one door at first, and the car garage was on this end, and the racer garage was up in the other end. And yeah.
Squirt, what is the question we've missed so far? The question we should ask about Squirt Johns that we haven't done?
Well, I guess I don't know.
I didn't hear the question.
Because the real question is,
what should they know about me that we haven't talked about?
We've talked for about an hour and a half. We're probably wearing everybody down. But you know, you're going to walk out low and say, you know, they never asked you, Squirt, about X. That one story, the story, the missing...
about something that you think they ought to know.
State Line
Speedway?
That's how I spent our dates when he was working on the car.
We heard that story, and
yeah.
we're wondering why you stayed with him.
Good guy. That's
All right. Well, that's a good thing to say, Squirt.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what he's... Just Squirt.
Well, but to us in State Line area, he's Squirt.
Yeah, he's
a legend.
He's a legend to us kids.
There's Squirt Johns, and then there are a lot of other racers, you know. So we're thrilled. This is a real bonus for us to have a chance to come down here.
I don't know what. Worked on his racer all the time. Our dates, and we got married.
Well, go ahead.
And I cooked for the guys when they worked on it at night. You know, they'd get hungry. I'd make stuff for them.
Did you have sponsors?
No, my father actually bought the gas. This, I don't know why Snyder's is on there. It wasn't, no money changed hands or nothing. I'm trying, I bought I believe maybe because they give me a discount on Civic parts probably. And that car right there probably has a frame in it that was brand new. I bought a brand new frame and put it under I bought a convertible frame because they had more metal in them. They were stiffer underneath, and I did that one time, but that's probably the car that had that.
Our Jada never saw you race. Eddie did. Joni.
Oh, our grandkids never saw me race. No.
Well, we're hoping to find some movies. Have you ever seen movies of you racing?
Yeah.
I don't think.
That's our goal. Our goal is, as we start asking this, we're going to try to find something. When Randy has...
Well, he says he's got one here.
Yeah, so
Well, this is Skyline now. What we're really looking for, Squirt, is
The
the
State
whole
Line.
movies from State Line.
Yeah.
somebody, we know it's
Oh,
out
yeah, there probably is. That's right.
Our job is
I
to
never
find it.
took him. I'd get too excited. Nobody wanted to sit by me. One lady showed me she was all black and blue, her arm.
It's nice you had at least one fan out there, isn't it, Squirt?
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah. Oh,
Well, you
yeah.
had many, that's for sure. Randy, what's the question you've been burning to ask?
No, I think you covered everything. And I don't think you say when you saw the fans, you know, I mean, the fans were really pulling for you. I mean, I remember as a teenager going to my aunt with an orange jacket, and she cut out letters, Squirt Johns 511.
Oh,
Just
You
so
know,
we
it's
could wear
wonderful.
those kind of things to the track, you know.
He was
so,
good to the kids, you know. He'd let them get
Yeah.
on the car
Yeah.
and ride it. Till one night he had to get them off at Erie because the car wouldn't go. There was too many on it. He
yeah, that,
liked the kids. He always had time for the kids.
that Bill Cross, you know. I don't know if you guys might know Bill Cross. His father was a Mayville. What's Mayville, New
Up
York?
in Mayville.
Huh?
There's some crosses in Mayville that are.
Yeah, well, see,
CROSE?
Maybe.
his Bill Cross's father was, what do you call them instead of counties? What do you call them up there? What do you call them?
Or villages and towns?
Yeah, well, anyhow, he was down here we'd call him, but like a township supervisor that runs the work crew for his father had, I believe it's an elected political job in New York.
Highway superintendent, perhaps?
Maybe for I don't know but anyhow, this kid come when he was, you know, this high.
3 of them.
Yeah, well, he had buddies with him, but he came and they grew up. He built a '57 Chevy like you showed me there, but he didn't build it. He bought one of these models of some kind, but then he heated it or something and put all the wrinkles and stuff in it and painted it the colors of the car and give it to me. I got it upstairs someplace, and he so we all them years, and then somehow we kind of stayed in touch a little bit. But I'm out at Michigan. We used to go to Michigan pretty near every race out there, and I'm out there with my granddaughter one year, and I don't know where I got the tickets I had. Oh, I think I got them a scalper. I used to have tickets at Michigan, and they, you know, you paid for them a year in advance. And I got to thinking, Penske owned that place, and he's got way more money than me. I'm going to quit going out there because he keeps my money a whole year plus charges a good price for the ticket. And I never had nothing against Penske, but I just think this is foolish for me to. So I quit. I said I ain't going to go anymore. Well, then it started back going, and then you know, it was booming then, and you had to buy scalper tickets or something. So I'm out there going up. I have good scalper tickets up in the middle of the high in the middle grandstand. I'm up there with my granddaughter. She's a little girl. She's 4 maybe, you know. First time she's ever been to a race, just me and her. And we're up there sitting down, and I hear this lady's voice saying, "Is that Squirt Jones?" And kind of quiet, you know. I think I wasn't supposed to hear it, you know, but I was close enough that and the man's voice says, "Yeah, that's Squirt Jones." And I turn and look, and it's this Billy Cross, you see.
Wow.
And so I'm sitting there, you know, he's one row further up than I am. We talk and stuff, and well, then I get tickets. He gets tickets from somebody. He progressed from being a state line race fan to following NASCAR circuit, you know, and stuff. And so then for years, Bill was like my broker. He'd get my tickets for me and stuff. And now this kid's, he's retired. He gave up his township, which he had for years. He had the same job as his father. Then he had it all his life. And must have done a good job to get reelected that many times. And now he calls me. He's down in Florida. He bought a place down in Florida, and we met up with him down there last winter. And of course his mother died, and he had to go back home early. But
I saw him in a restaurant not very long ago, in the last couple of months. I know who he's talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Bill Cross, and you know, it's just a. I think the one time, I can't remember, his good buddy died young from cancer, and I remember I talked to him a little bit during that time. And I think maybe we called on the phone maybe a few times in along there. But
A fan who turned into a friend.
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice story.
I-
Nice story.
And even yet, all these years later, what was it, a couple years ago, we were out eating, and they took your reservations, and we just say Squirt. If we say Johns, they say Jones and that, and this guy come up to him. And he was a member at the Italian Oven, that guy that come up, and
yeah, I
it's
can't
funny,
remember.
you know, all these years, every once in a while, somebody,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been terrific. You've been so gracious to open up your house. I really appreciate it. This is a highlight for all of us.
when he raced, this was like
Wow.
Grand Central Station. There was people in and
Oh, I
out.
bet.
This couple from Jamestown come down with their little girl every year while he was building it, you know. They'd come down to see how he was doing, and she'd come in and visit.
Well, Pete Abers, he's a flagman. I'm sure you got a picture of him somewhere. He, and I started to tell you guys about this guy.
Yeah.
Look at the style and stuff. He was thinking, he had the right idea years ago when the rest of us were rum-dums and stuff. And this guy here, this picture right here is in lots of race, in the paper lots of times when that wasn't a picture from that race, but must be a file photo that they used to have in the papers around and stuff, because it's a good picture. The flagman is neat and everything, and I think about that. I never think about that then, but I realized what a good thing this guy was for racing, you know. And,
Was that Evers?
What'd you say about Pete Avers?
Pete, he worked for a health and beauty outfit in Bradford.
Mm-hmm.
And he run a pedal truck down here, and he used to service Martino's Market, which is her cousin's and her cousin and her cousin's husband owned that store over there. And but he stayed with us for years.
When he'd come down to that store,
When he was on his route, you see, he'd spend the night here. And
he'd bring his kid once in a while.
yeah, and that's old John Seeley there.
Yes, it is.
I upset John Seeley one time. I really felt bad about that. And
What happened?
that was up at the old Skyline, and I think it was late models, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Must have been in 55 or 55. Anyhow, he's going down into the turn, sliding out, then coming across, you see, and I'm trying to go around the inside. And every time he comes across, I got to hold up and wait on him, and then it messes up. This happens about 5 times. Well, I finally said, it ain't going to happen again. And I give him a ping on the back end, you know, like I hope similar to as good as Buck Baker done to me. And he goes skidding around, but they had like a grader ridge on the inside of the track between where and the infield, you know. And when his back tire hit that, he just went like, you know. Holy hell, I felt bad. I meant to root him out of the way a little bit, but I didn't mean to upset him. And I really, that's one thing that I felt I had every right to do it, because he had been cutting me off time after time after time. But boy, I didn't like the outcome at all. And yeah, I felt bad about that, because he's a good guy, John Seeley. Yeah, a real good guy.
Sammy Lamacuso, he's still in Jamestown.
Oh yeah, I always liked Sammy too. We bought her a car from that dealership where he.
Cusimano Brothers Dodge.
Right, yeah.
Who died? What did you say?
Cusimano Brothers Dodge.
Yeah, we bought her
He and his wife, we visited, you know.
We bought her a '72 Dodge Charger up there.
I used to get mad at Tom Deal, but we're good friends now. He stops here. A couple of years ago, he's coming to Florida or that, and he stopped here. And
he'd been down in New Jersey. He come here. You didn't have to look at him more than once. You know, he was done in, you know. And he was going to go on, and I took him up and put him to bed up there. But yeah. I didn't remember Sam run a '60 Studebaker. All kind of stuff like this that I don't remember it. You know, it's in and out of my head.
Right, wow, you're worried about your car.
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah, I you know, these, like them, when I started building these Dodges, you know, Petty's was running them and stuff. All kind of people were calling them kind of guys for information and parts and stuff. I never did none of that. Everything was always my way. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. But yeah.
You know Emery Mann died?
Oh yeah, they know. You know, you called me and shortly after he died, you know, and I'd been thinking about this. I don't know if I told you, but I called his house the day he died. And I got a friend, an old racing friend, Harry Hine from down Butler, and I'd been telling myself I was going to go see Harry, Well, that incident, I went to see Harry, and you know, it makes you think, you know, and maybe you won't get to go see Harry next year and stuff.
Well, we were supposed to see Eddie Kisco this afternoon.
Oh.
And he called this morning and said he wasn't feeling good, and couldn't we come another time? So we called Marv Thorpe.
Yeah.
We're going to go visit Marv on our way back home.
Where does he live?
Seneca, Pennsylvania. It's over by Oil City in Franklin.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we told him that we were going to be at your house in the morning. He said, well, make sure you tell Squirt and Lola I said hello.
Oh, yeah.
Is that it?
Marv Thorpe.
Marv.
Marv, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jesus. You said about him having some. I knew he worked with them guys. I mean, they're all from. As far as I know, them 4 guys are all from Sugar Grove.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I wasn't sure about Lloyd Briggs. Lloyd.
Here's another
Williams.
guy we're going to go talk to.
Oh my! What a guy,
Jim Polero.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you laughing about Jim?
Oh, he's a wonderful guy. He's got personality, and oh man, I think I could never get over. I'm pretty sure Jim put a lot more into racing than he ever got out of it, and And but what a you know, enjoy. I'm pretty sure nobody ever took more fun out of racing than Jim did either. And
You know he's still working.
is he though?
He's driving school bus.
Oh yeah.
Still working every day.
And the kids love it.
Oh, yeah, he's the hero to those kids. 'Cause
he would
he's so good to kids.
Oh yeah.
You know? They think he's terrific.
I always, you know, I got to know Jim a little bit at a time over the years, and the longer I knew him, the more I respected him every time.
Here's another guy we're going to go talk to. Floyd Finale.
Oh yeah. His brother's wife,
Oh, is that? I was sitting up at Erie,
Bud?
and this woman,
Bud's wife, yeah, and her had some.
hello, Mrs. Johns, and I said hello, and she sit down in front of me, this girl. She grabbed her around the neck and punched her. She says, this little bitch after Squirt. I said, I don't think so. Boy, she really give her one of those short ones, you know, they really.
It was Bud. She thought this girl was
I
after
was
her husband, Bud, who was Bud Finale.
She was a big woman, you know, tall and that.
But you guys were friends, kind of, from then.
Oh, yeah, I talked to her. She didn't punch me.
Yeah, those Finale boys were known as scrappers.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Bud was. I knew about that. To me, it never come out in. No, yeah, it never. To me, I never seen it in Floyd. It probably was there. He just kept it under control better than Bud did. But yeah,
I think his wife hit him with a ketchup ball one time. He had it. But that really shocked me. She talked to me real nice. She sit by this girl and just went like this, and man, did she wallop him.
You gotta love those stories. That's great.
Those people sitting with me when she left, they.
you know, I ain't sure I'm right, but to me, there was a lot of good people in this race. They weren't all as smart as financially, maybe, or, you know, it was all love of what they were doing that made them do it and stuff. And they weren't there. They were there enjoying themselves, no matter how hard they were working and stuff. And I got this theory about democracy and stuff, you know, about freedom. I'm a great believer in freedom, even an animal like mine. I don't like to ever leash it. I have to some now, but this, to me, the racetrack was the ultimate freedom, because even though they'd done some squalling about things and stuff and about rules, once you got on the track, I was never at a racetrack where anybody didn't get paid for the position they finished. I never seen anybody disqualified for hitting somebody or for dirty driving. You know, that all got settled among the participants, you know, in one way or another. Sometimes pretty obvious, and sometimes. But and some of the wildest guys, if you just was civil to them and friendly, I had guys that I thought really were raucous about the way they run against other guys.
How about Jughead Pierce?
Oh, well, Jughead, he was a nice guy. But by just being civil with them in the pits and stuff, just make an effort to go talk to the guy, say hello, and I always thought I got treated wonderful by a bunch of them guys that I seen them hit other people just literally to pay them back or for the devilment of it, you know. And I never thought I got much of that. But
well, I think that was because of the respect that you had. No one wanted to be the guy that messed up Squirt Johns, because you'd have hell to pay. Because you were the most respected guy up there.
Well, I always thought I made it a point. Them guys that were putting a lot into it and getting nothing out of it, like that Johnny Ditch's crew there. Not 1 year, but season after season, they'd blow motors and do work and my land, what kind of a race, you know, what kind of a, how do they get any satisfaction? But them guys, I really made it a point to go say hello to them and how you doing, and anything they ask me, I always give them honest. I give everybody honest. I might not answer somebody, but I always, if I answer them, I give them an honest answer. And them guys like that you know, didn't have enough background in engines and stuff, and they're still working on them and trying to do things. Boy, I give them all kind of credit, and they must get something out of it some way. But to me, I respect them in a funny way. You know what I'm saying? I respect their. I always thought that them guys helped me get a purse, you know, and I always figured that them guys helped me get a purse. They're there doing the
Can't have a
guts off.
race if you're the only one there.
I didn't finish about the Johnny Ditch's buddy that died at the racetrack.
Hi, sweetie.
He got a
Come in.
Abscess tooth, you said?
yeah, abscessed tooth. Kept coming to races, it swelled out.
This is our daughter over there.